Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. This is another deep dive into the Marvel multiverse. Today we're going to explore 10 of the most unique and powerful variants of Daredevil. We've seen a lot of versions of the Man Without Fear over the years, but these are the ones that really stand out. Some for their mind-boggling power, some for their complexity, and others for how completely they reimagine the character we know and love. So grab your billy club and let's dive in. Dark Devil. The first Daredevil variant we need to talk about is Dark Devil, a version that makes the regular Daredevil look like a walk in the park. This variant is from an alternate reality where Daredevil becomes much more than just a blind street-level hero. Dark Devil is a fusion of Matt Murdock and a demonic entity, Zarathos, which is why this version of Daredevil has a much more sinister vibe. Dark Devil has fangs like a vampire, and his costume is darker, more menacing, complete with glowing eyes that scream danger. But that's just the start. His powers are insane. He can summon flames, and those flames aren't just for show. Dark Devil can enhance his melee attacks with them, making his already formidable combat skills even more deadly. His healing factor is incredibly fast, putting even the likes of Deadpool and Wolverine to shame. But perhaps the most frightening part of Dark Devil is his speed. He's not just as fast as regular Daredevil. He's on the level of some of the fastest Marvel characters like Spider-Man. He can also teleport to places he's been before, giving him an almost unbeatable tactical advantage in battle. Add to that the ability to stick to walls and even wrap himself in mystical flames for a power boost. And you've got a Daredevil who's not only scary, but practically invincible. Old Man Daredevil. Stick. Next up, we have a version of Daredevil that's part of a much darker future. This one is from an alternate timeline where Matt Murdock has already fallen, and the mantle is taken up by someone else. In this future, the world is in chaos, and supervillains have taken over the United States. After Daredevil's apparent death at the hands of Bullseye, Clint Barton, yes, Hawkeye, finds a sensei named Stick who trains him to carry on the fight, but there's a twist. Stick reveals that he was actually Matt Murdock all along, having faked his death to survive in hiding. This version of Daredevil is an older, battle-worn warrior who is no longer interested in revenge. In fact, he tests Clint by sending him on a mission to kill Elektra, only to reveal that the whole thing was an elaborate way to force Clint to let go of his past and stop seeking vengeance. It's a heart-wrenching and philosophical turn for the character, showing that even someone as tough as Matt Murdock can evolve into something far more peaceful, if only for a moment. Old Man Daredevil reminds us that sometimes the greatest strength lies in letting go. Daredevil 2099. Now let's jump to the future, the year 2099. In this timeline, Matt Murdock is no longer the Daredevil. Instead, we have Samuel Fisk, the grandson of Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin, taking up the mantle. Samuel, as Daredevil 2099, is everything we imagine a Daredevil of the future could be. Tech-enhanced, brutal, and highly efficient. His suit is not just fabric, it's full-on armor that gives him enhanced strength, speed, and durability. Daredevil 2099 has gadgets that make him feel like a high-tech superhero. He has a specialized vehicle, an automated dressing system, and even a crime scanner to track villains. His dual pistols are a far cry from the traditional billy club, but they still reflect the core Daredevil philosophy: strike first and strike hard. These pistols fire sedative bullets that dissolve upon entering the bloodstream, giving him an almost non-lethal approach to crime fighting. But with his armor, rocket boots, and advanced tech, Samuel Fisk, as Daredevil, is a force to be reckoned with in the cyberpunk future. Dare the Terminator. Moving on to something truly unique, we have Dare the Terminator. This is a product of the Amalgam Comics crossover event, which fused Marvel and DC characters in the 1990s. In this alternate universe, Daredevil's powers are combined with the abilities of Deathstroke, DC's infamous assassin. The result is a dangerous, almost unstoppable character. Dare the Terminator has enhanced strength, agility, and durability, but it's her mental powers that really set her apart. Unlike Matt Murdock, whose sensory abilities come from an accident, this version of Daredevil has heightened senses as the result of genetic experimentation. She's also more comfortable with violence, showing a far less ethical approach to her crime-fighting methods. What makes this version stand out is how much she embraces the darker side of her powers. She's a deadly assassin who's not afraid to do whatever it takes to get the job done, and that includes taking down her own nemesis, Enigma Fisk, the combination of Daredevil and Kingpin in this universe. The darker and more violent nature of Dare the Terminator is a sharp contrast to Matt Murdock's usual moral compass, making her one of the most interesting and morally complex variants of Daredevil. Ultimate Daredevil. In the Ultimate Universe, Earth-1610, the version of Daredevil we get is much edgier, more aggressive, and a whole lot more dangerous. Ultimate Daredevil is faster, stronger, and more skilled than his Earth-616 counterpart. With a sharper edge, he's not afraid to fight dirty, and his combat skills are on a whole other level, placing him just below Marvel's top martial artists like Iron Fist and Captain America. What really makes Ultimate Daredevil stand out is his willingness to use extreme violence. He's quicker to anger and far more brutal than the Matt Murdock we know. One of the most memorable moments of this version of Daredevil is when he beats the Punisher to a pulp with his signature billy clubs. Unlike the standard Daredevil, who tries to avoid lethal force, Ultimate Daredevil has no qualms about using whatever means necessary to take down his enemies. Earth-X Daredevil. On the world of Earth-X, the version of Daredevil is quite possibly the most powerful. This version, David Jarrett, gains immortality after exposure to the Terrigen Mists, which also grants him regenerative healing. This healing factor is so powerful that it makes him almost unkillable. If he loses a limb, or any part of his body, he can spawn duplicates of himself to keep fighting. David Jarrett's immortality makes him an unstoppable force in battle, and his regenerative healing ensures that most injuries are no longer a threat to him. This version of Daredevil is more a symbol of perseverance and strength, as his ability to keep coming back from the brink of death is almost legendary. With his specialized motorcycle and immortality, Earth-X's Daredevil is a version that can take on practically anyone and never stay down. Elektra as Daredevil. In a powerful twist of fate, Elektra takes on the Daredevil mantle when Matt Murdock is imprisoned. Not only does she wear the iconic red costume, but she also brings a new set of powers to the table. Elektra's telepathic and telekinetic abilities make her one of the most powerful Daredevil variants. Her martial arts skills are unrivaled, and she's also capable of controlling the minds of others for a short time, making her an even more deadly opponent. Unlike Matt, Elektra's ninja training allows her to shield herself from telepaths, making her nearly invisible to mental attacks. With these added powers, Elektra's Daredevil is both a deadly fighter and a strategic mastermind, able to take on opponents on multiple levels. Kingpin as Daredevil. In an alternate reality in the Spider-Gwen universe, Matt Murdock is no longer Daredevil, he's the Kingpin. This version of Daredevil is a whole different beast. Matt's heightened senses, combined with his advanced training, are now used to run a vast criminal empire. As Kingpin, he commands the Hand and has an army of ninja assassins at his disposal. This version of Daredevil is even more ruthless, as he has the same skills, but now wields power and influence that goes far beyond his street-level origins. His connection to Spider-Gwen opens up even more possibilities, especially with the idea of multiversal travel, suggesting that this Kingpin Daredevil could appear in future adaptations. Zombie Daredevil. If things weren't grim enough, in the Marvel Zombies universe, Earth 2149, Daredevil is one of the many superheroes and villains turned into a zombie. This version of Daredevil is a horror in itself, a creature who feeds on the living to sustain his own immortality. Despite his decaying body, Zombie Daredevil retains his intelligence and agency, making him a truly terrifying force in the undead world. Given the popularity of Marvel Zombies, his struggle with his humanity, even in the midst of his horrific condition, adds layers to his character that make him more than just a mindless zombie.
I was raised to believe in grace.
OG Daredevil. And finally, we come back to the classic, the original Earth-616 Daredevil. The Matt Murdock we all know and love, brought to life in the Netflix series and now the MCU. He's a street-level hero with heightened senses that allow him to perceive the world in ways most of us can't even imagine. His echolocation lets him sense people and objects despite his blindness, and his martial arts skills are top-notch, making him a fierce competitor in any fight. But what really sets the 616 Daredevil apart is his mind. He's a lawyer who fights for justice in the courtroom, and outside of it, he's constantly battling his own sense of morality. Despite his lack of superhuman abilities, he's able to take on some of the toughest and most powerful villains in the Marvel Universe, proving that even without powers, he's one of the most formidable heroes around. Our nerdy thoughts. So there you have it, 10 of the best Daredevil variants, each bringing something unique to the table. From the powerful Dark Devil to the tragic zombie Daredevil, these alternate versions of Matt Murdock show us just how versatile and compelling this character can be. Whether it's through technology, mystical powers, or a darker twist on the original, each of these variants leaves an indelible mark on the Marvel Universe. Which version of Daredevil is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite characters and stories. Until next time, keep fighting the good fight.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.